and
Gimel
we start Perek Gimel with the Mizbeach.
Aleph. The altar was 32 amos by 32 amot. It ascended 1 amot and went inward 1 amot. This tier was the base. It was found to be 30 by 30 amos, ascended 5 amos, and went inward 1 amot. This tier was the ledge. It is found to be 28 by 28 amot, and the space for the horns measured an amot on this side and an amot on this side. It is found to be 26 by 26 amos, and the space where the feet of the Kohanim walk measured an amma on this side and an amma on that side. It is found to be 24 by 24 amos, and this is the space for the pyre. Rabbi Yossi said originally the altar was only 28 by 28. It narrowed and ascended in the same manner until it was found that the space for the pyre measured only 20 by 20. But when the exiles ascended, they added the altar to the altar 4 amos on the south and 4 amos on the west in the shape of a gamma. It is stated in Yechezkel that the hearth area is 12 amos by 12 wide. So it might be thought that this space was the fire, but was only the 12 by 12. And when the first states that is for its 4 quadrants, it teaches that it's from center point to the altar that the first is measuring 12 amos in each direction. And a line of red encircles the altar at the halfway point of its height, separate between the upper bloods and the lower bloods. And the base traversed the entire north side and the higher west side of the altar, and it costumes 1 amma in the south and 1 amma in the east. At the southwest corner, there were 2 holes like 2 fine nostrils, so that the sacrificial blood was placed on the western base, and the southern base would be drained through them and mixed together in the stream, and the blood-rich water would flow out to the Kidron Valley. Below on the floor of the corner was a hollow place that measured 1 amma by 1 amma, and on the top there was a marble tile with a ring fixed in it, and that through it would ascend to the cheese and to clean it. And there was a ramp on the south of the altar which measured 32 by 32. 32 by 16, and the ramp had an alcove built in its west side, for there was place for the unfit barikatos. Both of the stones.
No, that's me.
There were 2 holes, right? The 2 holes. One was a little bit.
Yeah, one is more to the west, and one is more to the south.
Right. One was a little wider.
And depending on where the coin was coming from, was where he would pour out the blood. So if he was coming down off the ramp, then he's now turning to now he turns around and comes to the left side of the ramp to get to those holes. So he's going to be coming from the south, so he'll pour into the south.
Right.
As opposed to if he's coming out of the Kodesh from the west, then he's going to be pouring into the western hole.
And the 2 holes, the different sizes also because of the blood and the they didn't want it to mix, right?
No, there's no that. I think you may be confusing them with the jugs that were set into the top of the mizbeach, where you poured in the water in the one and the wine in the other.
Oh, right, okay, right, okay.
So those had different flow rates.
Okay.
Echad avnei kevesh echad avnei mizbeach mi bikas beis kerim. So the stones of the ramp and of the altar were taken from the quarry in Beis Kerim. Okay. Now they had a very special requirement. They had to dig them out from under virgin soil. And they would have to bring from there whole stones. That no metal had ever touched them.
Mm-hmm.
Metal puzzle stones for the mizbeach just by touching them. And if they got chipped by anything, then they would also become puzzle. Okay, if one of them became chipped, then even once it's been built into the mizbeach, it becomes puzzle, but all the rest are still kosher, so they can break it out and my gestures. Okay, never mind. So they could break out a puzzle stone and replace it with another one. But there is an opinion that in terms of metal, if metal touches this mizbeach, then the whole thing becomes puzzle. They've got to demolish it and start again.
Right.
That would be quite a risk there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got to be very careful. And if so what they would do, they would cover them with plaster. So the layer of plaster is a bit of an insulation, at least against the accidental touch of metal. But you still don't touch it with any metal. So they would cover it, and they would repaint it twice a year. Achas b'Pesach, achas b'Chag, once before Pesach and once before Sukkot. Uvehechel, Pam achas b'Pesach, and the Heichal itself would be painted once a year before Pesach. Perhaps this is the origin of the custom that some people have of painting their house before Pesach.
I don't have the custom.
Me neither. I've just heard. I never heard of it before I came to Israel, and I thought, okay, that's now you're really like you've already got the cleaning of the house on your head, and now you're gonna just for the heck of it throw on painting the whole house. That's like, come on, lay on more. Let's redo the garden too. Okay, Rabbi Omer, Kol Erev Shabbos Melabnim Oso b'Mapa Mipnei Hadamim. So Rabbi Yodanasi comes and says that, well, before Erev Shabbos, they would come with a wet rag to clean off all the blood, because there's a lot of blood that gets thrown on the Mizbech. So, yeah, okay. Lo hayu satinosan b'chafis shel barzel. So they would not use a metal trowel. Okay, Shema Yigav Yifsol, because even though it's got that plaster layer, next thing, he accidentally slips and chips it and touches one of the stones, and that's it for your Mizbeach. Okay, and what's the reason behind all the sensitivity? Shabarzel nivra lekatzer yamav shel adam, v'mizbeach nivra leharich yamav shel adam, because metal is used to shorten people's lives. Okay, and the mizbeach is to lengthen people's lives. Eno badin sheyunaf hamekatzer al hamarich. You shouldn't have a mekatzer put on the marich. It just doesn't stim. Mishna hey, v'tabaos hayu letzvona shel mizbeach. So there were rings at the northern side of the mizbeach. Okay, shisha sedarim shel arba arba. There were 6 rows of six. So if we take a look at the, I should bring out that diagram again.
I have a diagram.
Find that quickly and share it. There. Okay.
Oh, you have it on.
And I've got to find you again. There you are. Okay. Right. So here, next to the Mizbeach, you've got these rows over here. These rings. These are the rings where they would slaughter the animals.
Right.
Okay. Tabas hayu v'litzvona shel Mizbeach. Shisha shel arba. Yeshomim arba shel sheish. And some say it was in the other direction. It was 4 rows of 6 in each. Okay. Either way, there were 24. Jalein shoch tenis hakodshim. And this is where they would shecht all of the kodshim. Beis HaMitbechaim haya litzvona shel Mizbeach, and also the butchery area was also by the north of the Mizbeach. V'alav shmone amadim nanasim. And here are your 8 mini tables where the hooks were.
Right.
Okay. Shmone amadim shel. Okay. The Ravine shel areas al gabein, and that's where they also had the wooden posts. Kalios shel barzel hayu kuin bahin, and that's where they had metal hooks in them. Shlosha sadarim hayu lechol echad ve'echad, and there were 3 sets of hooks on each one of them. Shebahin toliim umafshitin ala shulchanos, so they would suspend them from these hooks and then skin them and put them on al shulchanos shel shayish shebein ha'amodim. And there were these marble tables between the pillars, on which they would do all of the skinning of the sacrifices. So that's all in this northern area. All kind of makes sense in nice and close to each other. A kior, okay, the laver where they would wash their hands. That's up in this corner over here. You see where I'm pointing? Okay, so the kior is right behind the mizbeach. Now, if you recall, when we were learning Tamid, the Kohanim were coming in from the Beis HaMoked, and the first Kohen who went in to do the Trumas Hadeshin, remember it's dark and nighttime, and he has to go straight to the kior, and he can't, and they can't actually see him because they're down here and he's up there, and there's a mizbeach in between.
Okay.
Because that's why they can't see him. Anyway, so that's the kior. Haya beina olam le'olam mizbeach. it's in between the altar and the hall. Okay. Umashoch klape hadron, and it's on the southern side of the olam. Okay. Bein ha'olam v'lamizbech shtei misrei ama. So between the mizbech and the olam is 12 amas. So almost the same width as the Ezra's Yisrael and the Ezra's Kohanim. So there's another gap there between the mizbech and the olam. Okay, and in that gap over here, there are shtei misrei malos hayusham. There were 12 stairs. Rum mala chatzi ama. So each step is up half an amma. B'shilcha amma b'rovid shalosh. So they would start out going in by an amma each time, and then there would be a long step that was 3 ammas. Amma v'rovid shalosh, and another one that you go up 1 and then another 3. But Alyona amma rovid arba, and the final one had a width of 4. So this was the only set of stairs that was not consistent in terms of its grade. So it'd be going up 1, and then you can't get used to getting into stride. And I think I saw it written somewhere that the idea behind this is that you couldn't just sort of switch on your brainstem and just walk into the ulam. You actually have to stop and say, "Whoa, okay, I'm going into the ulam." Right. So you can't just automatically walk in autopilot. Okay. Rabbi Yehuda Omer ha'elyona ama v'rovid chamesh. So a slight disagreement about the width of the top step, because Rabbi Yehuda says that it's 5 amas wide, but that's that.
We're talking about locus between the Rosh and Rav on the steps of the antechamber. There's a difference in the size of how many there are. At least in my edition over here.
Okay, tell me what you've got there.
I have the Rav. The Rav says for the bottom there are 3 steps. 3 steps. The first one is half, and the second one is 1. Then another step. Then there's 3. Then 2. Then 3. I'm sorry, I'm not saying it right. There's 3 length of 3 steps. Then 2. Then 3. Then 4 going up, and the last one is 5.
Okay. Well, these subtleties aren't
not that important. I know, but just to let you know. Okay, all right. All right, so we go.
Okay, so let's go and do Tamid.
Vav base. The Kohen who won the privilege of the shovel service heaped up the coals on top of the inner altar and flattened them with the bottom of the shovel and prostrated himself and exited. Right. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. It was Vav Aleph, right? No.
No, Vav Gimel.
Okay. Well, next is going. I missed the place. The Kohen who won the privilege of the sentence would take the spoon from within the ladle and would give the ladle to his friend or relative. If some spilled from the spoon into the ladle, the friend or relative gives it to him in his cupped hands. And they instruct him, be careful that you not begin directly in front of you, lest you get burned. He started arranging the incense, and then he would leave the Hakel. The one who offered the sentence would not offer it until the appointed one said to him, offer the incense. And if it was the Kohen Gadol, the appointed one said to him, my master Kohen, offer the incense. The people moved away, and the Kohen offered the incense, and then he prostrated himself and exited. When the Kohen Gadol enters the Hakel to prostrate himself, 3 Kohanim would build onto him, one on his right and one on his left, and one holding onto the precious stones. And when the appointed one heard the sound of the Kohen Gadol's feet as he was exiting the Hakel, he lifted the curtain for him. He entered and prostrated himself and exited, and his fellow Kohanim entered and prostrated themselves and exited.
Okay. Tomorrow we're going to finish Tamid, and the next day we start again at the beginning of Middos.
Okay. Krisos. Said Rabbi Akiva, I asked Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Shua in the meat market of Emamos when they went to purchase an animal for Rabbi Gamliel's son's feast. One who cohabitates with his sister, his father's sister, and his mother's sister in one lapse of awareness, what is he liable for? He is liable for 1 katos, for all of them or for 1 of each. And they replied to me, this is we have not heard. But we have heard that one who cohabitates with his five mitzvahs wives in a single lapse of awareness is liable for each one, and we believe that the matter is a kalvakoma. Rabbi Akiva asked them further, a dangling limb of an animal, what is it considered? They replied to him, this is we have not heard, but we have heard that a dangling limb of a human is tahor. For so will the lepers in Yerushalayim want to do. If he would go to a surgeon on the eve of Pesach, and the latter would sever it until he would leave it over a barley upon his breath and impale it on a thorn, and he would pull away from it. Then the person would make his Pesach offering, and the surgeon would make his Pesach offering, and would believe the matter is a Kal Vachomer. Rabbi Akiva asked them further, if one slaughters 5 offerings outside the temple and one lapse of awareness, what is the ruling? If he is liable to one contest for all of them or for one of each, they replied to him, this we have not heard. Rabbi Yeshua said, we have heard that one who eats of one offering and 5 dishes in one lapse of awareness is liable for a meal offering for each one, and I believe the matter of a Kal Vachomer. Rabbi Shimon ben Akiva, said, Rabbi Akiva did not ask them about such a case. Rather, if one ate leftover of 5 offerings and one lapse of awareness, what is he liable for? He is liable to one for all of them, and one for each. They replied to him, we have not heard. Rabbi Yeshua said, I have heard that if one eats from one offering of 5 dishes, he is liable for a meal offering for each one. And I believe that the matter of the Kal Vachomer. Rabbi Akiva said, if this is an accepted halakha, we will accept it, but if it is a logical deduction, there is a refutation. He said to him, refute it. He replied to him, no, if you say that in the case of a milah in which the Torah made that one who gives as though he were eating, and the one who bestows benefit as though he were receiving benefit, and the Torah is reckoned together the milah offering over a long period of time. Can you say the same regarding the case of leftover offering, which has none of these stringencies?
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, going on to Menachos. There were 2 tables within the antechamber at the entrance to the temple building, one of marble, one of gold. They would place a lechem upon the one of marble, which when it was brought in, and upon the one of gold when it was taken out, because we ascended holiness but not descend. There was one of gold upon which the lechem upon him stood constantly. 4 kohanim entered, 2 with 2 arrangements in their hands, and 2 with 2 spoons in their hands. 4 others precede them, 2 to take away, the 2 arrangements, and 2 to take away with 2 spoons. Those who bringing in the stand to the north facing south, while those who are taking out stand to the south facing north. These withdraw and these place down the handbreadth of this one, filling the handbreadth of this one, as it is stated before me constantly. Yoshi says, even if these take away and those placed down, this too is constantly. They went out and placed them upon the golden table, which was in the antechamber, and they burned the spoonfuls on the altar, and the loaves were divided among the Kohanim. If Yom Kippur falls on the Sabbath, the loaves are distributed at evening, and if it falls on Friday, the Higor of the Kippur is eaten at evening. The Babylonians eat it raw because they are not fastidious. If one arranged to burn on the Sabbath and the spoonfuls of frankincense after the Sabbath, and burnt the spoonfuls on the Sabbath, is invalid, and if one is not liable on their account for pigul, noser, or tameh. If he arranged the loaves and the spoonfuls of frankincense on the Sabbath and burnt the spoonfuls after the Sabbath, it is invalid, and one is not liable on their account for pigul, noser, or tameh. If he arranged the loaves and the spoonfuls of frankincense after the Sabbath and burnt the spoonfuls on the Sabbath, it is invalid. What should he do? He should leave it there until the next Sabbath, for even if it is on the so-called many days, it is of no consequence. The shtei lechem are eaten no earlier than 2 days and no later than 3 days. How so? If they're baked on the eve of a festival and eaten on the festival, that is 2. If the festival falls on Sunday, they are eaten on the 3rd. Lechem upon are eaten no earlier than 9 days and no later than 11 days. How so? If they are baked on Friday and eaten on Shabbos, that is 9 days. If a festival goes on Friday, it is eaten on the 10th day. If the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, it is eaten on the 11th day. It does not override either the Sabbath or the festival. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says in the name of Rabbi Shimon, the son of the administrator, it overrides the festival, but does not override the day of the fast.
Okay.
And
Yeah, scientists.
One wolf is not an unavoidable accident. 2 wolves is an unavoidable accident. Rabbi Yehuda says at the time when wolves are sent out, even if 1 wolf is an unavoidable accident, 2 dogs is not an unavoidable accident. Yehuda Yadu, the Babylonian, said in the name of Reb Meir, from one direction it is not an unavoidable accident, from 2 directions it is an unavoidable accident. A brigand is an unavoidable accident. A lion, a bear, a leopard, a bdelus, a snake is an unavoidable accident. When they came out of themselves, but if the lead led them to a place frequented by bands of beasts or brigands, it is not an unavoidable accident. If he died naturally, it is an unavoidable accident. If he afflicted it and it died, it is not an unavoidable accident. If he ascended up steep mountaintops and fell, it is an unavoidable accident. And if he took it up to steep mountaintops and it fell and died, it is not an unavoidable accident. An unpaid showman must stipulate to be exempt from an oath, a borrower, or to be exempt from paying, and from a paid shomer and a renter to be exempt from oath and from paying. If anyone stipulates contrary to biblical law, his stipulation is void. Any stipulation was preceded by the action, his stipulation is void. And anything that is possible to fill at the end, he stipulated concerning it in the beginning, his stipulation is valid.
Okay. Sachim.
Good. That's good. If the Pesach offerings of two groups were confused, these take one for themselves and the others take for themselves. Then a member of the group comes to the other group, and a member of the other group comes to this group, and they declare the following. If this Pesach is ours, then you are withdrawn from your own Pesach and you are registered on ours. But if this Pesach is yours, then we withdraw from ours and we are registered on yours. Similarly, if there are 5 groups, each comprising 5 or 10 members, they take to themselves one person from each group and declare the same. 2 individuals whose Pesach offerings were confused. This one takes one Pesach for himself, and that one takes one for himself. This one registers some stranger with himself, and that one registers some stranger with himself. This one comes to that Pesach, and that one comes to this Pesach, and I say to him, thus, if this Pesach offering is mine, then you are withdrawn from yours, and you're registered upon mine. And if that Pesach offering is yours, I am withdrawn from mine, and you are registered upon yours. On the eve of Pesach, close to the midnight period, a person may not eat until it becomes dark. Even the poorest man in Israel may not eat unless he reclines, and they must give him no less than 4 cups of wine, even though he's supported from the charity plate.
Okay.
If someone immersed in a river and there was another river in front of him, and he crossed it in the water of the second river, if he crossed it, if the water of the second river cleanses the water of the first river. If his friend pushed him due to his drunkenness and likewise to his animal, the water of the second river cleanses the water of the first river. But if he was sprouting from him, if he was sporting with him, it is included in the law of water is placed. If someone swims on the water that flashes is not included in the law of water is placed. But if he intended to splash water on his friend, this is included in the law of water in place. If someone makes bubbles in the water that splashes on that which is in it are not included in the law of water in place. Concerning produce in which a leak drips, he may mix them so that they may dry. Reb Shimon says they are included in the law of water is place. So the sages say they are not included in the law of water is place.
Okay. Zell.
Gotcha.
Wonderful day, and I'm going to go and attend to my electrician.
Okay. Have a good day. I'll see you
Hey,
tomorrow.